standing on a field. And when they take the field, they play like men of steel. They're ready to fight with all their might. Here come the blue and teal. And when the game is on the line, they'll find a way to win, just wait and see. You can look east and west, they're still the best. Seattle Mariners on to victory.
Hello everybody, welcome to Game 2 of the Strat-O-Matic Demolition League Championship Series. Seattle Mariners, right now they are the best. They are leading 1-0 over the Houston Astros, but the Astros are looking to even that series before it goes back to Houston for Games 3 and 4. We have Hishashi Iwakuma on the mound for Seattle and McHugh on the mound for the Astros. Your starting lineups are here, your benches are here, and your bullpens are over there. Mariner colored dice with the blue and the green. And not much has changed. Springer did get hurt in Game 1 for Houston, but it was only a one game, that particular game injury. So he is eligible to pitch, until he gets hurt again, or if he gets hurt again. But otherwise, he's eligible to play. Not pitch, but I guess he could pitch, but he's not going to. So he's eligible. And gonna get one more thing ready to go, and then we'll be ready to start this game. So I'll pause the video very quickly. Okay, now we are all set. Jose Altuve is in the box, and Game 2 from Seattle is now underway. We got a 4-11, and that's going to be a fly to left. Altuve is retired, one away. Iwakuma's injury chance comes on a 6-10, and McHugh cannot be injured. So the only injury for the pitcher so far is a 6-10 result. That has the possibility of an injury. Here's George Springer. Speaking of injuries, he's coming back from his Game 1 injury, and he comes back with a single. So how about that? Not very good in the clutch, apparently. Look at all these singles on his card, but they turn into outs on clutches. So he must not have been very good in the clutch. At least Strat-O-Matic didn't seem to think so. He is an ace stealer, though, so we'll go with that. Zunino is only a -1 arm, where they had Sucre a -3 before, so that might encourage the Astros to try to steal a base here. You start at a 15, being held makes him a 13, and then -1 from Zunino is 12. 1 to 12 with one out. They want a guy in scoring position. They're going to send him 1 to 12, and he's out on a 20. Wow. Not even close. They had him dead to rights. 2 down on the failed stolen base attempt. And sitting there, Bloomquist was sitting there waiting at second base for him to apply the tag. Out goes 2 to 4. And Carlos Correa is up now with 2 outs and the base is clear. 5-8, and that's going to be a possible double on a 1 to 14. That's a 3. It will be a double, and boy, that caught stealing now looms very large. Springer would have most likely scored from first on that, but not to be the case. But runner's still in scoring position, so the Astros still have a chance to come back. Here's Valbuena. Iwakuma 1-7 to Valbuena is a walk, and that's going to put 2 on with 2 outs. But had he not been caught stealing, worst case scenario, they would have had the bases loaded and 1 out. But you know what to say about ifs. Here's Marwin Gonzalez, the designated hitter. Oh, Suadice, let's try that again. Doesn't happen very often, but it happened that time. 2-4 for Marwin Gonzalez. He grounds it right back to Iwakuma, and that's going to end the top of the first. Astros come away empty-handed. We go to the bottom of the first. Houston nothing, Seattle coming to bat. And Colin McHugh had a very nice outing his last time up against Cleveland. He is back on the mound. See what he can do in this series. Almost a must-win for the Astros as they were down 1-0 in a 5-game series. Going down 0-2, even though you're going home, you still don't want to go down 0-2. Here's Brad Miller to lead it off, 110, and that's a 1-10 triple. That's a 19, though. It will be just a double, but Miller will take it. It is Miller time with a leadoff double for Brad Miller. He's aboard. Runs as a 14, so they will hold him on. And here's Seth Smith. 1-8 for Smith. It's a ground ball to second. That's going to move the runner to third. I know it said A there, and typically in advance you don't move him, but that's the one exception I do make in the advanced hybrid is that ball hit to the right side, you get rewarded by moving the guy up as you do in real baseball. So there's one away for Nelson Cruz. The infield is in. 3-7, and that is a strikeout. Huge strikeout there from McHugh as he gets Nelson Cruz for out number 2. Now the hero from Game 1, Kyle Seager. His 2-run homer in the 8th inning in Game 1 was the game winner. McHugh 4-7 against the lefty, and that's a fly to center to end the inning. So McHugh pitches out of it. And both teams come away empty-handed. We go to the second, no score from Seattle. And leading off for the Astros will be Preston Tucker, followed by Chris Carter and Jason Castro. Number 6, 7, 8 in the lineup. Tucker against Iwakuma. 2-8 is a strikeout. Tucker fans, and there's one away. Speaking of strikeouts, here comes Chris Carter. He's not unfamiliar to strikeouts. He only struck out 151 times in 2015, so he knows a thing or two about strikeouts. 5-9. This one's off the pitcher card, though, and 5-9's the end home run chance, 1-16. He does know a thing or two about home runs. That is a 5, and it is gone. Kaboom. That is way back there. Chris Carter getting his first start of the series, and he pays dividends right off the bat. Rewards his manager. Says, I'm not striking out this time. I'm going deep, and he did. And the Astros jumped to a 1-0 lead on the Mariners. That ball was crushed by Chris Carter, and no doubter. Here's Jason Castro. 5-7, and that's a strikeout. So Castro is out on strikes. 2 down. And that'll send us to the number 9 hitter, Carlos Gomez. He was acquired from Milwaukee. It's part of that Josh Hader trade. Gomez, 2-3 against the right-hander is a ground ball to short, and that's going to end the inning. But a run is across on the home run from Chris Carter, and the Astros lead it 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the second. Colin McHugh was given that 1-0 lead to work with and to protect. Due up for the Mariners will be Franklin Gutierrez, left fielder, followed by Morrison and O'Malley. 3-11 for Gutierrez against the right-hander is a hit by pitch. So he gets plunked. Takes one for the team. And he's the leadoff man on board. He's the E-stealer. He will not be held. Logan Morrison is up. Q 4-9. That's a fly to left. One away. One down. That brings up O'Malley. He's the computer-generated card because he was not carded in the set or the extra players. He had 42 at-bats, so if it doesn't show up on camera, I'll just trust me, I'll read off the result. He is a switch hitter batting left-handed. 3-10, and that's going to be a walk right there in blue. It's a walk to O'Malley. So now 2 on with 1 out. No speed on the bases, though, at second base, so Gutierrez is not going to be held. O'Malley runs well, but he's got Gutierrez blocking him up at second base. So here is Bloomquist. 5-3, and that's a single to center field by Bloomquist. Gomez's arm in center is a -2. Let's see, he was not being held. He runs as a 12, makes him a 13 not being held, but it'd be a -2 as an 11. They're going to take bases loaded and 1 out rather than risk a runner getting thrown out. Bases loaded, 1 out for Mike Zunino. Zunino has a chance to tie the game or put the Mariners in the lead. 3-5, and that's a walk. A bases loaded walk has forced in a run. And we are tied at a run apiece, and bases are still loaded. And they're flipping the order over to Brad Miller. So Miller has a chance to put the Mariners in the lead. Infield is at double play depth. They're looking to get the double play out of the inning. McHugh, 2-10, and that's a ground ball shortstop A. It's tailor-made, doctor's orders. 6-4-3 double play. And the Mariners tie the game, but they could have got more. But the twin killing takes care of it. They do tie the game, though, at the end of 2. We are tied at a run apiece. Both Iwakuma and McHugh have fatigue of 6, so they're good to go for several more innings. We're only in the top of the 3rd, so they have a lot of juice remaining. Jose Altuve will lead things off. He flew to left his first chance. 3-8, and he's going to fly to center, so 1 away. Maybe next time he'll fly to right and complete the circuit. That's 1 down for George Springer. He singled and got caught stealing back in the first. 5-8. 1-14 is a double. That's an 11, so he will hit a double. Double for George Springer. I've never had a cycle in all the years I've been playing this game, or any game, any board game, or what, baseball or computer game or anything. So he's 2/3 of the way, or halfway there, single and a double. Of course, the 2 horrors are still left for him. Springer will be held at second base. Here's Correa. 3-6, and that's a strikeout. Huge strikeout for Iwakuma. Makes it 2 away, and it's going to require a 2-out hit by Valbuena if the Astros are to reclaim the lead. 2-6, and he's going to ground it right back to the pitcher Iwakuma, and he'll toss to first to end the inning, and they will strand Springer at second base. Nothing doing for the Stros. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. Still 1-1. McHugh is out, and he'll be facing Seth Smith, Nelson Cruz, and Kyle Seager. Heart of the order, 2, 3, 4 in the Mariners order. Mariners would like to get something done this inning, put a run on the board, take the lead, and put the pressure on the Stros. 3-9, that's not a way to do it. That's a strikeout for Seth Smith. He's 0 for 2. That will bring up Nelson Cruz, right fielder. Cruz struck out his first chance. 4-6, and he will get a base hit this time. Nelson Cruz singles. He is a slow runner, obviously, so he will not be held. And Kyle Seager, the batter. Astros looking for the double play to get out of the inning. 1-6. It's a line out right to first base, snagged by Carter. For out number 2, Cruz just gets back in time. 2 down. 2 down now for Franklin Gutierrez. 6-9, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. That's going to be Correa, and he is a 2. 2-14 for shortstop. Should be a good play. 2-14 is. A ground ball C. It's good enough. So he throws to first to end the inning. So 3 innings are in the books, and we are tied at a run apiece here in Seattle. Nip and tuck. Nip and tuck battle here in game 2. All the pressure on Houston, though. They don't want to go down 0-2. They want to split the series and head back home, and then they feel like they have the advantage at that point. So I guess it's a big game for Seattle too. They don't want to. They don't want to go to Houston 1-1, but can't have everything. Here's Marwin Gonzalez, the designated hitter. We get a 2-9 for Gonzalez, and he strikes out. Gonzalez sits down, 1 away, and here's Tucker. Speaking of strikeouts, he struck out his last time up. Or his only time up. 3-8, and this time he's going to do something a little bit different. 1-16 is a home run. That's a 1. It is long, and it is gone. Preston Tucker, a solo shot, and the Astros reclaim the lead 2-1. Preston Tucker. Speaking of home runs, here's Chris Carter. He hit one in his first time up. Astros lead at 2-1. 1-7. He's going to walk. So Chris Carter, they didn't want any part of Chris Carter. They walk him to bring up catcher Jason Castro. Carter will not be held, but Castro is a decent double play candidate, so they will be playing for the double play. 2-10, and that is another walk. So Iwakuma, that home run to Tucker must have shook him up a little bit. He has given up 2 straight walks. And now the Seattle bullpen starting to stir down there. As we have right-hander Tony Sick loosening in the pen. Gomez 4-5, and that is a ground ball shortstop A. It'll be a 6-4-3 double play, and that certainly helps them get out of the inning. Astros get the 1 run to take the lead, but that's all they get. They could have been worse without that double play. We go to the bottom of the 4th. 2-1 Astros in the lead. And Colin McHugh out to try to hold on to that lead. Seattle will send Logan Morrison to the plate. Morrison, the first time he came to the plate, flew to left. 4-7 against the lefty. That's a fly to center. So he's also making the circuits in the outfield. Maybe he'll fly to right next time. Complete that circuit. Here is O'Malley. Sean O'Malley walked his last time up on a 3-10. See what he does this time. 1-9. He will strike out. That is a K there. So O'Malley out on strikes. I know that computer-generated card because I printed on regular paper on top of it. So, because I knew I wasn't going to use it very much, I didn't want to bother printing on cardstock just for limited use. So he did strike out. Here's Bloomquist. 1-11. That's a pop out to third, and that's an easy 1-2-3 inning for Colin McHugh. And we go to the 5th. It's still 2-1. Favor of the Astros. And Iwakuma back out. He will be facing, for the Astros, the number 1 hitter, Altuve, as they flip the order over. So Altuve it is. Altuve has flown to left and flown to center. See if he can fly to right to complete the outfield circuit. 3-9. Now he flies to left again. So he's got the fly ball thing going, but it went to left field instead, 1 down. But they are keeping him off the bases, and that's smart for Seattle. Here's George Springer. He singled and doubled. 6-3. It's a fly ball left field X. That is a left fielder, Gutierrez, and he is a 3 in left field. 3-14. Let's see if he can get to that, or whether it's an error check. 3-14 is a fly ball C. It's good enough. He was able to get to it and put it away for out number 2. Brings up Carlos Correa. Doubled in the first and struck out in the third. 2-6, and he's got a chance for a triple, but it's only a 1. So 5% chance for a triple 95% chance for a single, and that's what he got, was a single. So Correa 2 for 3 now, single and a double. 2-out single. He's a B stealer, but if he goes, it's only a 45% chance because B is a 13, minus 3 for McHugh is a 10, minus 1 for the catcher is a 9. Be a 1 to 40. It'd be a 45% chance. But if you make it, you get in scoring position. So they're going to try it anyway. It's a little bit against the odds, but they're going to try it. And he makes it. It's possible throwing error on Zunino with that 2. Zunino's T rating for Zunino is a 10. 1 to 10, it's a throwing error. And it is. Zunino uncorks it into center field, and so being aggressive for Correa pays off. He steals second and makes it to third on the E2. So error there on the throw by Zunino, and all of a sudden Correa's at third. There are 2 outs, but it does put some pressure on the Mariners as Iwakuma needs to get this final out to prevent falling further behind. Here's Valbuena. He's 0 for 1. He's walked and grounded back to Iwakuma. 2-9, and that's a straight-up home run for Valbuena. It's a solid shot. It is long, and it is way out of here. 2-run home run for Valbuena, and I think that might be the beginning of the end for Iwakuma. As 2 more runs come in to score, it's now 4-1 Houston. I guess they want to try to see if Iwakuma can finish the inning. There are 2 outs. Here's Gonzalez. He's gotten him out twice. 4-7, and he struck him out to end the inning. But 2-run homer for Luis Valbuena. And all of a sudden, it's now 4-1 Houston, and it looks awful daunting the way McHugh is pitching. 4 runs seems almost insurmountable if you're Seattle, but you never know. Anything is liable to happen. Mike Zunino, the catcher, will lead off for Seattle to start the bottom of the 5th. He walked and was erased on a force play, his first time up. 4-10, and that's a fly to right field, 1 away. McHugh now has retired 6 in a row, going back to the 3rd inning. 1 away, and it's top of the order now for Brad Miller. Miller has doubled and grounded into a double play. 2-10, and he's going to ground to short. No double. It would have been a double play had somebody been on, but simply a grounder to short for 2 quick outs. McHugh taking care of Seattle, trying to push this thing back to Houston even at 1 apiece. Seth Smith 6-4, and that is a fly ball center field X. That's Gomez. He is a 2. 2 and a 19 is a good play. That's going to end the inning. Nothing doing for the Mariners. Nothing at all for the Mariners. We go to the 6th. It's still 4-1 in favor of Houston. And we will get a new pitcher for the Mariners. Let's see who's coming up for Houston. It is Gonzalez, a switch hitter, followed by... No, I'm sorry. Gonzalez made the final out last time. So it's actually going to be Tucker, a lefty, Castro a righty, and... I'm sorry, Carter a righty and Castro a lefty. So they're actually going to a lefty out of the pen, will Seattle. They will go to a left-hander, Joe Beimel. See if he can keep things where they are. Joe Beimel, the lefty. Tony Sick has long since sat down. So Joe Beimel it is, and he'll be facing Preston Tucker. Tucker homered his last time up, but that was against the righty. Had a lot less power against lefties. So Beimel to Tucker, and then Carter and Castro. 4-1 Stroh's in the 6th. 1-4, and it's a ground ball to second, and Bloomquist is there, 1 away. 1 down, and that will send us to Chris Carter. Carter homered in the 2nd and was walked in the 4th. 6-5, and he's a chance for another home run on a 1-15 to end home run. That's a 13. He does have normal power, and once again, Chris Carter, all he does is hit home runs, and he just did it again. Chris Carter just cranked one. It is now 5-1 favor of Houston. And boy, what a smart move by the Astros manager to put Chris Carter in the lineup. He had been riding the pines, but it was the right move to put him in there now. Maybe it'll give him more playing time. Here's Jason Castro. Whoops. Suadice again. 6-4 against the lefty is a walk. So Beimel running into some issues. Here's Gomez, and maybe Sick. All of a sudden, Sick is back up again, tossing, trying to get ready. Won't take him long because he was already previously warming. Here's Gomez, rather. Castro not being held. Beimel, 2-9 to Gomez, struck him out. That's 2 down. Big strikeout there. And that'll send us to Jose Altuve, but he won't face Beimel. Beimel's coming out. We will go to the bullpen for Tony Sick. Again, he is a computer-generated card because he was not carded in the regular set or the extra players. Might be a little hard to see on camera on the phone. I'm not sure. It's kind of light printed there, but I'll do the best I can as far as interpretation and telling you what it is. But Tony Sick, he was 0-0 with a 2.45 ERA in 18 innings pitched in 2015. So Sick it is. In there to try to get the final out of this inning. Hold the Astros to 1 run and not make it any worse. Beimel goes 2/3 of an inning, gives up a run, and the runner on base is his responsibility. So here's Altuve, who's 0 for 3, 3 flyouts. That's a 1-12, and that's a foul out to the catcher to end the inning. So Nino puts it away, but damage done on a second Chris Carter home run. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. Astros comfortably in front now, 5-1. Colin McHugh, this is his point of weakness inning. So we'll keep an eye on him. For the Mariners, it will be Nelson Cruz, followed by Seager and Gutierrez. 5-12, and that is a in-home run chance on a 1 to an 11. He does have normal power, but that's a 13. It's a deep fly to left, but Cruz just got under it and just misses a solo shot. But very close, but no cigar for Mr. Cruz. 1 away, and here's Kyle Seager. 6-4. That's a fly ball center field X. That is Gomez. He's a 2. 2 and a 1. That's going to get down for extra bases. Probably a double. Let's look it up. 2 and a 1 is a double. So Seager with a double, as Gomez couldn't get to it. Had that been Marisnik out there, he would have caught that. But Marisnik may come in later for defensive purposes. But right now, they want to keep Gomez in there. But it's a 1-out double to Seager. And that brings up Gutierrez. 3-6 is a strikeout. Out number 2. 2 down. And actually, Tucker's the one that would leave. He's a 4 rated defender in left field. So if they bring Marisnik in, it's to pull Tucker and put a better defender out there. All right, here's Logan Morrison, first baseman. He's 0 for 2. Flew to left, flew to center. 6-7, and that's a 1-3 double, but instead it's a fly to center again. And that's going to end the inning. 3 flyouts for Logan Morrison. And the inning is quickly over. The double by Seager goes for naught. At the end of 6, it's 5-1. Favor of the Astros. Sick back out to start the 7th inning. And he will be facing Springer, Correa, and Valbuena. Heart of the order. In the top of the 7th. 3-9 is a strikeout. So he struck him out. Springer is gone, 1 away. Brings up Correa. Carlos Correa, righty on righty against Sick. It's a 1-7, and that's a ground ball to short, 2 down. 2 down, and that brings up the lefty Valbuena. What do they want to do here? They're going to pull sick because last time Valbuena found this 2-9 for a home run. Not quite as prevalent on the left side, so they will go to the bullpen for Charlie Furbush, their other lefty. Try to get this third out here in the 7th inning. So Furbush it is. That'll be all for Sick. Sick did well, though. He pitched in 1 full inning and retired all he faced, striking out 1. So can't really complain about that at all. If you're Seattle, he did what he's supposed to do. And now Charlie Furbush, the left-hander, is on to face Valbuena, the lefty. .37, and that's a strikeout. 3-7 against Sick would have been a walk. So strategy paid off there to remove him. Nothing doing for the Astros in the top of the 7th. We go to the 7th inning stretch. Score still 5-1 in favor of Houston. And now let's see. McHugh has 1 knock against this point of weakness. So they're going to let him keep going until he gets in trouble. 7th inning stretch, but I'm going to keep rolling. I'm not going to stretch. I'm going to keep going. O'Malley is the leadoff man for Seattle. Again, another computerized player because they're just beset by trades and injuries. It's amazing they even made it this far. 6'11". McHugh cannot be injured, so no worries there. 6'11", switch hitter batting left is a ground ball pitcher X. McHugh is a 2 with an E7. So let's see if it goes to his error or his range. It's going to go to an error check. He's an E7. E7, and that's an 8 for a pitcher. Pitcher E7 and an 8 is a ground ball A, so it's good play. The tires O'Malley. 1 down. And that will send up Bloomquist. Unless they want to pinch hit. Let's see what they might want to do with a pinch hitter here. Because it could play Taylor at second. So they're going to call back Bloomquist. He's only a 159 hitter. They will call him back and they will go to the bench for Mark Trumbo. So Mark Trumbo will pinch hit, and then Chris Taylor will take over at second base for Bloomquist. So Trumbo it is, the pinch hit, and then Taylor will take over for Bloomquist at second base. So Trumbo, see what he can do against Mr. McHugh. 4-8, he will do something. 7 is a double. So Mark Trumbo with a double. How about that? He doubles. And Chris Taylor is going to actually come in and pinch run for Trumbo, because Trumbo runs at a 10 and Taylor runs at a 14. So Chris Taylor is going to come in and run for Trumbo and stay in the game to play second base. So 1 out pinch hit double for Mark Trumbo. And that brings up Zunino, and they may go to the bench here as well. He's a 174 hitter, so they figure this is their time to try to get something done with the pinch hitters. They can use Sucre to pinch hit, to catch rather. So they are going with Jesus Montero. He's got some pop in that bat. And then Jesus Sucre will do the catching the remainder of the game for Seattle. So we're down to Jones on the bench now for Seattle, as they've used everybody else to try to get back in this game. So 1 out, runner at second, and Montero the batter. Jesus Montero's got a loaded column 1. McHugh 6-5, and that's a strikeout. So McHugh got him. 2 down. And go back to the top of the order and Brad Miller. Now, do you let Miller face McHugh, or do you go to the bullpen for a lefty? And I think they're going to go to the bullpen for the lefty. That's going to be all for McHugh. He's going to get a nice hand from his teammates, and he will be leaving the ball game. And they will be bringing on left-hander Tony Sip. So Tony Sip, the lefty, coming on. His job is to get out Brad Miller and keep the score at 5-1 and not give Seattle any hope. So Tony Sip. And the Mariners don't have anybody to pinch hit for anymore because they're out of players except for Jones. So you wouldn't have anybody to play shortstop. So they got to let Miller hit. 4-5, and that is a strikeout. Sip comes in and does the job, strikes out Miller to end the inning. So nice call by the manager there to pull the right string and get the K and keep the score at 5-1. As we go to the top of the 8th, Charlie Furbush got the final out by getting Valbuena. Still got the switch hitter Gonzalez and lefty Tucker coming up, so I think they're going to let Gonzalez, they're going to let him stay in to face Gonzalez. Gonzalez is 0 for 3. 5-4, switch hitter batting right-handed. 5-4 is a ground ball third base X. That's Seager. Seager is a 2. 2 and a 12 is going to go to his error check. He is an E16. E16 and an 8 for a third baseman. E16 and an 8 is a ground ball A. Good play for Seager. 1 down. Tucker's your batter that's scheduled, but I think he's being called back as the Astros will bring on a right-handed pinch hitter. And then they will use they will use Marisnick as a defensive replacement. So Marisnick will take over in left field. He is not the pinch hitter. He will take over in left field. The pinch hitter is going to be Evan Gattis. So Gattis will pinch hit, and then Marisnick will take over in left field. So Marisnick and Gattis. So Marisnick will be your new left fielder. Goes from a 4 defender to a 1 defender by doing that. And they're hoping that Evan Gattis can do something. Seattle does have Danny Farquhar loose in the bullpen ready to go, but they're going to see if Furbush can take care of Gattis. .110 he does. It's a line out to second. Out number 2. And that'll bring up, speaking of previous home runs, that will bring up Chris Carter. Furbush trying to get through the inning. 5-7, and that's a strikeout to end the inning. So he strikes out Carter, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Furbush. He certainly did his job. And we go to the bottom of the 8th, still 5-1. That's going to be all for Furbush. He will leave. And Carson Smith will pitch the 9th since it's a travel day tomorrow. They want to get him an inning of work in as well because he has a day of rest for travel. Now for Houston, they're going to stick with Tony Sip because Seth Smith is the first batter, a lefty. But they do have right-handed action. Pat Neshek, sidewinding right-hander, is ready to come in to face Nelson Cruz. So this will be Sip's last batter. It's Seth Smith. Lefty on lefty, 1-7. Ground ball to first. It's a C, so we're going to say that the first baseman, Carter, had a little trouble with it, but then flips to Sip covering to take care of it for out number 1. Smith is retired. Here comes Nelson Cruz, but he won't face Tony Sip. He'll be facing Pat Neshek, right-hander. Pat Neshek. Little sidewinding right-hander. Almost a submariner kind of thing. Neshek is in. And he is facing Nelson Cruz. Cruz is 1 for 3 tonight. 3-6, make it 2 for 4 with a single for Nelson Cruz. He will not be held. And lefty Kyle Seager is up. 4-12. That's a fly to center. 2 down. Put away out there by Gomez. 2 down. Here comes Franklin Gutierrez. 2-7 for Gutierrez. 1-5 is a home run, but that's a 17. It still will be a double. Question is, can Cruz score? Double is assumed to go to center. Gomez is a -2 arm. So let's check out Cruz. He starts with 11, not being held, makes him a 12. There are 2 outs, makes it a 14. -2 from Gomez makes him a 12. Do you send him and risk that 3rd out is the question. I don't think you do. I don't think you risk making that final out at the plate. You need more runs than that. You're down by 4, so even if he scores, it's not really all that consequential. So they will leave it to Logan Morrison, see what he can do against Neshek. 1-6. He's going to walk to load the bases, and that'll bring up Mr. O'Malley. And I don't know if Neshek will face him. They're going to go to the bullpen. Neshek was unable to get it done, so they're going to go to Will Harris, right-hander. See if he can get out of this mess. Will Harris will be facing Sean O'Malley. He is a .262 hitter, is O'Malley, in 41 or 42 at bats. Switch hitter will turn around bat left-handed. Will stay left-handed, I should say. And Harris, his one job is to get O'Malley out of here and keep that 5-1 lead for the Stros. But the tying run is at the plate. 6-7, switch hitter batting left. It's a ground ball to second, and that's going to end the inning. So Will Harris did his job. He will set it up for Luke Gregerson in the 9th, even though it's not a save situation. Still go to their closer because you do have that travel day tomorrow. So the Astros maintain the 5-1 lead into the 9th. And Seattle needs a pitcher, and they will go, of course, to Carson Smith. He is their closer, but with the day off for travel, might as well use him. So Carson Smith is on, facing Castro, Gomez, and Altuve. Lefty, righty, and a righty. So Jason Castro and Luke Gregerson is loosening in the pen, ready to come in the bottom of the 9th to make sure nothing happens. Smith to Castro. 2-5, and that's a strikeout. Castro out on strikes, 1 down. We'll bring it to Carlos Gomez. Gomez. Just had him a second ago. Now I can't. Oh, here he is. I had him right in front of me. If a snake would have bit me. Here's Carlos Gomez. Had a rough day offensively. He's 0 for 3, a strikeout and a double play. 6-5 against Carson Smith. 1-6 or 1-5 is a double. That's a 2. So Carlos Gomez cracks a 1-out double. Looking for an insurance run for the Astros. And Jose Altuve coming up. Gomez will have to be held. 3-10, and that's a ground ball to second. Again, that's going to get the runner to third, but now there are 2 outs. Altuve 0 for 5. Very unusual for him. They've kept him in check, but not some of the other guys, like Chris Carter especially. Smith to Springer, 4-11. That's a 1-3 single, but that's a 13, so it's ground ball to third. Seager has it. Throws to first, and the inning is over. So Carson Smith did what they asked him to do. Keep the score right where it is. But it does not look good here in the bottom of the 9th to try to score 4 runs. But stranger things have happened. And right now, Luke Gregerson is in for the Stros. He is their closer. And he's the fifth pitcher used by the Astros. Seattle has used 5 as well. Due up for Seattle will be Chris Taylor, because he came in to play second base when they pinch hit for Bloomquist, so they have nobody else to pinch hit unless they want to use Jones. But then you wouldn't have anybody to play second base if it got to that, so we're kind of stuck with Chris Taylor, even though his average is only a 170 hitter. They have no other options. Same with Sucre catching, batting next. So it's really kind of hamstrung here. 2-6, and he struck him out. So they went for it the previous inning, and it fell apart. And now they're reaping the error of their ways, I guess, by using all their players. Now here's Sucre. But the way the Astros are pitching, it may not matter. 3-6 is a pop out to short. 2 down. And now just 1 out away from evening the series at a game apiece. And here's Brad Miller. And going back to Houston on top of it, well, they will have Lance McCullers on the mound against James Paxton would be the matchup in Game 3. 4-9 against the lefty, and that's a 1-14 triple, so that is a triple for Brad Miller. So there is not going to be a 1-2-3 ninth inning. Brad Miller will triple, and that'll bring up Seth Smith. So a 2-out triple for Brad Miller. He has doubled and tripled. He's 2 for 3. He's 2 for 5, a double and a triple. Last chance, Seth Smith. 3-6, and he will walk. So the Seattle Mariners not going away without giving up a little bit of a fight. And here's Nelson Cruz. One swing of the bat can make this game very interesting. Cruz is certainly capable. He's got a loaded column 1 and column 4 on Gregerson. He gives up some dingers. So 1 or 4 could be trouble. It's a 5 though. 5-8 is a fly to right, and that's going to end the ball game as Springer is there, puts it away, and that's going to do it for the Mariners. They are defeated here in Game 2. The series is now even at a game apiece. Player of the game, you could give it to McHugh for his pitching, but I got to give it to Chris Carter. Those 2 home runs really did it. I know Tucker had a home run as well, but Chris Carter with his 2 home runs, I'm giving him the player of the game. Chris Carter. He's the man. Chris Carter is the man. He had 24 home runs in the 2015 season despite a 199 average and only 391 at-bats and 151 strikeouts. He had 24 home runs. So he is the player of the game. We'll pause the video and come back with the totals and get you set up for Game 3. Okay, final line score. A little bit messy. I don't write my 8s with a Sharpie very well, so this got a little bit ugly. But for the Astros, 5 runs, 9 hits, no errors, and 6 left. For Seattle, 1 run, 8 hits, 1 error, and 11 left. So they left a lot of guys on and missed some opportunities. Miller left on third base in the first, and they left the bases. They left the bases loaded, or they had the bases loaded in second, hit into a double play. And then in the 6th, they left a runner, Seager, in scoring position at second. In the 7th, they left Chris Taylor at second base after Trumbo had doubled. Left him on base. And then they left the bases loaded again in the 8th. And they left 2 on in the 9th at runners at the corners. So a lot of left on bases come back to bite them. So the series is tied at a game apiece. And Game 3 will be in Houston. And it'll be Lance McCullers, a right-hander for the Astros, against left-hander James Paxton for the Mariners. Game 4 we'll see Mike Fiers for the Astros against King Felix for Seattle. And if Game 5 is needed, we'll be right back here in Seattle, and it will be Dallas Keuchel against Taijuan Walker, a rematch of Game 1. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.